We've got clackers and Miranda Priestley and fantastic clothing, Emily Blunt. What isn't fabulous about this episode? And also, Chris hasn't seen it until now.
It still takes me a second to realize what you mean when you say clackers. And then like, oh, right, the clacking of the high heels. Even after now having seen it, my brain still doesn't quite go there.
Ladies and gentlemen, throw out your cellulite. We're talking about Devil Wears Prada.
Okay, what makes it like the Citizen Kane of gay movies? That's what I don't quite understand.
I just think it's just so well done. It's just like, I feel like the way it's, I don't know. I don't know. Like, why is Citizen Kane the movie it is? Why is
okay, well, like Citizen Kane is Citizen Kane because it did everything first.
Well, I guess I would say like the nostalgia and the memories that I have associated with it.
Okay.
But also, it's like it is this kind of thing where it's like, I feel like once every few years we get these great female-centric movies where, like, gay men love Mean Girls because everyone's sassy and bitchy and all of that stuff. I feel like this one is great because it's not sort of like people being mean to each other for the sake of being mean. It's got like the great one-liners, but it's not necessarily people being completely terrible.
Because
it's like very like pro, like,
people are shady, but for a reason.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's very pro, like, trying to like remain yourself in certain environments and stuff like that because life gets to be soul sucking and people want you to be certain ways and do certain things. And I don't know, it holds a lot for me.
I mean, do you think part of the reason it's such like, because I think
because it's lasted a long time. I remember, oh God, I feel so old. I remember they like had a whole thing for I think its 10-year anniversary or something like that.
Okay.
Where it like had been 10 years since it came out and there was like a whole like celebration or something about it. Like it's
a whole big old party.
Yeah.
Because like I really, really enjoyed it. Because as I'm watching it, just objectively I'm seeing like, oh, this is such a good movie.
Yeah.
Like the opening introduction to Miranda is, I think, one of the best introductions to any character because you get to see everyone else, how they see her, like their interaction, like, oh my God, like
before you see her.
Yeah, she's here early, like everyone's in a mad panic, like run around, like clean off the desks, like get all everything put away, make sure all of you are wearing your high heels.
I think that is my favorite like part of that moment is the woman who's like wearing Crocs and switches to like Dolce and Gabbana heels.
Yeah.
Like that's still one of my like favorite little like minor moments.
Yeah, so it's like everyone's scurrying around, like she just passes through security. There's that woman in the elevator who like gets out and like lets her take the elevator by herself, like, oh, sorry, Miranda, it's all you. It just all these little moments that just build her up, and then she shows up and she's then also just as much of a badass as you expect her to be.
Yeah.
So I can see like from that perspective why it's so good, and all the character arcs in it are really fantastic, all the performances in it are really good. I love the screenplay.
Yeah.
Just like it has so many amazing lines in it. Like objectively speaking, it's a really, really well-made film. But as I'm watching, I couldn't help but think like, but why is it so popular amongst the gays?
I think because we all like, gay men tend to relate to these like female characters a lot easier. And it is a very like, there is, if you think about it, maybe two very straight men in it. I mean, you have the one friend who knows all about the fashion stuff, and that can be questionable.
I know.
But,
Is he straight? Like, is he the boyfriend of Lily?
No, this is just a friend.
Just a friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was trying to figure that out too. I'm like, is he gay?
Yeah. Like, I know he's the guy that ended up being on Mad Men.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time before I watched Mad Men, I'm like, where did he go? Everyone else went somewhere. Like,
yeah, right? Like, what happened to him?
I was like, oh, no, he's on Mad Men, and then he's on a different show now. I forget what it was.
Well, the crazy thing, if you think about it, this came out in 2006. Mad Men would have come out not too long after that. When did Mad Men first start? Like, I think it
Mad Men
started. No, it
started
started like
in
2006, 2007.
I want to say 2008 or 9 because I started watching it when it was on its third season.
2007.
Or 2007, yeah.
So that's the funny thing is you're like, where did he go? And then he jumped straight into Mad Men
Yeah.
basically. But like you're right. Like that show seems so contemporary. It doesn't seem like it would have started 10 years ago, but it was.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
God.
Mad Men was over 10 years ago.
No, like I'm just slowly starting to feel old now.
I know, right? I couldn't keep up with Mad Men because I started watching it on DVD and I was in college, and the problem is I would find myself drinking scotch at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, nope, I gotta stop. I gotta step away from this.
I would like it is
I don't even
everything.
like scotch.
It is everything that you love. Like
I
with,
know
like,
it's got the suits.
yeah.
It's got just really cool looking smoking. I don't smoke, but my God, I wish I looked as cool as they all do while doing it. Everyone's drinking all the time. Like, no, I'm all about it, but I couldn't keep up with it.
No, I you know, and it's like maybe this is the other reason I love like Devil Wears Prada, and you know, even with like Mad Men is like I just love sort of workplace like like high workplace dramas like
Yeah,
that. Ones
like-
that aren't like The Office, but where they're like in some place really like crazy, like an ad agency or like this like fashion magazine.
High
And it's,
stakes.
like high stakes,
Craziness.
like, you know.
So, because do you think then part of the reason this is such a gay iconic film is it's so pro femininity?
I think so, and it's also got Meryl, but
Well,
there's
I mean, yeah, that's true.
and I think
Everyone
you know,
loves
I think
Meryl.
there's everyone someone can relate to. Like everyone kind of wants to be Miranda, like, but everyone like also doesn't because there's a certain level of it where you want to be her on like, you know, at your very worst. But then again, like you want to be like Andy. Like no one really wants to be Emily.
So you said that. I'm just now trying to think like, who would I be? Not quite Emily. I mean, in the bit of the bumblefucking sense, I am Emily. But I feel like she's too.
You'd be Nigel. You would be Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, I guess I would be. Yeah, because like Emily's too mean to your face. Like you have to like get through her to get to the nice part where I'm like the exact opposite. Like I'll be nice to you until you give me a reason not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I think Andy's too much of an alpha for it to be me. I mean, we all know you're Miranda.
Yeah.
You say that like it's not a good thing.
I mean, like, you know, and I will say like, you know, I would probably like even like so being in Andy's job right now technically.
Yes.
With what I do for work, like and seeing it firsthand, like I always think of the line where Andy is defending Miranda and she's like, if she were a man, everyone would say that she would be doing her job just fine. And because I do work for a man who is like that, I'm like, yep, that is entirely true because there is very little difference other than fashion sense and, you know, a few other things.
Right. But you're right. It's like, oh, well, he just gets a pass because he's a guy, so
none
it's
of the
fine.
things that differ are in like in gender. I've you know, having met a few high-powered women too, there is that sort of stone coldness that they have to feel because the moment that they're like the warm and fuzzy like matronly figure is the moment that someone either tells them they're not good at their job or like takes advantage of them.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a power mover and you're a woman, you're like,
yeah,
like,
men can be like a little bit softer and, you know, with work and everyone like respects it, but they like it's unfortunate that we live in a society where a lot of women can't.
yeah.
So, you know, but like it's what I haven't watched it since I've been in my job and like I watch it now with like an entirely new mindset. I'm like, I have my like my book 7 days as I call them where it's like my boss is clearly hell bent on like it may not be mad at me, but he's mad at fucking something and basically just puts us through the ringer and, you know, I get frustrated halfway through the day. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to own all of this and have a book 7 day. And I like come in and I do it. And then I feel better about myself at the end of the day. Cause that's, you know, obviously it is kind of that sense of like, you take these kinds of take these kind of jobs because it's like they open doors for you because people know who they are and it looks good on a resume.
Be
But
there for
they're
a year and then you can go anywhere, right?
exactly, and
Yeah.
it's really fucking true, and they are fucking crazy, and all of your friends think you're a nut job for doing it, but like it's sort of the when you do sort of these high stake things, it's sort of the world you live in. Like
Yeah.
you know, our resumes aren't like, oh, look at the experience. They're like, who did you work for?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, damn.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like
Good on ya.
that's how people like, you always hear about like people getting fired working for who like worked for Harvey Weinstein or like Scott Rudin or these like really crazy like film people, and you like, I remember I used to think I'm like, well, how did they get another job if they were fired? Because normally that kind of creates a bump when you're in an interview.
Yeah.
But like here, it's like it's sort of like this weird badge of honor of like you worked there, you sort of survived,
Yeah,
like
you
blah
made
blah
it. You
blah.
made it for a while.
And like half the time when people get fired in this town, it's like, why'd you get tired? I didn't make sure his muffin was organic. Like it's stupid shit like that. It's like the worst.
Yeah, I couldn't track down a manuscript for the seventh Harry Potter book.
Yeah, like there is a common sense of like when you interview and you tell people that they're like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, it totally is. But
Yeah, 'cause I think for me too, that was one of the things that resonated with me. It wasn't just like the objective quality of it as a film, but it was having been an assistant, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be an assistant again at some point. You're just like, oh my god, I've been in this situation. I've been in something like this situation so many times before. And you're just like, I just have to go with it. I just have to roll with it and just deal with what
I
comes.
just at least wish I got the free fucking fancy clothes. God.
Yeah, I know. There's there's not a lot of perks in entertainment. Well, screeners sometimes you get to go to events.
Yeah, but like at that, I have to wear my own suit for that. I don't get to, wear like the newest like Dolce or Chanel
Yeah.
suit or whatever. Like,
And how do you spell Gabbana?
I was actually interested to see if you got that joke.
Yes, I know what Dolce & Gabbana is. Like, I know some of these things. Like, I've heard of these before. I know Hermes. I know Dolce & Gabbana.
So I was like this movie came at a point in my life where like I was starting to sort of like reach, I won't say pinnacle gay, but I was starting to like embrace it a lot more because like I don't even remember why I got the book. But I got the book and I basically combed through it and like I read it twice
Okay.
before the movie ever came out.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And the funny thing was like I actually read it before I left and went to Paris.
Oh my god.
So like God, how old was I? I was junior year of high school, so I had to be 16,
Yeah, like
maybe
16,
going on
16,
17.
yeah.
And I became obsessed with fashion. I bought like my first GQ. I was like so fucking excited to go on like the Champs-Elysees and stuff like that, and I was just like all about it. It was so good. And then the movie came out and like kind of reinvigorated that as well. I was just like, oh my god. I was just like, I was all about it. So it's like,
Did you go to shopping spree in Paris?
I did. I went on a shopping spree in Paris on the Champs-Elysees. I could not afford, obviously, like super brand name stuff. But normally when you sort of the rule of thumb is if you want to start like wearing that stuff, you sort of start with like the cheapest article of clothing 90% of the time is a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So it's like you just get the t-shirt or you just buy like a shirt. And they all have like clearance things too.
Yeah.
So like you just go and shop that aisle as opposed to like what is brand new.
The top of the line.
And so that I went through that whole phase where I was like, ooh.
Did you buy so many scarves?
Oh God. I lived in the Midwest, so I could actually like work a scarf and not feel like I'm dying of heat.
Yeah.
Here it's like 60 degrees and I put a scarf on and I feel like suddenly like I'm 1,000 degrees warmer.
Right.
Because then there's the sun and I'm just like, ugh.
Well, also everyone gives you look like, what the fuck are you doing? This is Los Angeles. Like, it's never cold enough to actually justify wearing a scarf. And if you do, you just look pretentious.
And that's kind of the thing I hate about this town is that
Did
it's
someone
like,
let you out of Silver Lake? Did you escape?
are you looking to throw blood on someone?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, that's kind of the thing I kind of like I miss about living in like a big city like Chicago, or like even like part of me wants to move to New York because I miss sort of that like the fashion. Like LA doesn't have like fashion.
I feel like LA's fashion is what can you wear that someone's gonna stop and see. It doesn't matter what the reaction is to it, but did you like get someone to stop and look at you? Then that's considered fashionable.
Yeah, and it's just and like yeah,
No one stops and looks at me. I'm always wearing gray jeans and a black V-neck t-shirt. So.
And honestly, like the most of the if I see like really well dressed people, half the time they're on their way to work to like being a host at like a very like expensive restaurant.
Yeah.
Or like working at a very expensive restaurant, or they actually are one of the people that work at those shops.
Yeah.
In like Beverly Hills.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like in entertainment, unless you're a very specific kind of creative, like when do you really get to dress up like that? I mean, obviously if you're in an agency or a law firm, everyone's wearing suits all the time, but that's also not necessarily a place you're gonna get like super high fashion.
No, because I've even seen like the female agents will wear like even if they're wearing a skirt, it'll be like, you know, they'll have like a plain blouse on and like a I don't know if you call it a sports coat if it's a female jacket, but they'll have a jacket over it.
Yeah,
It's basically
is that
like
a sport coat?
Female suit, just
Yeah.
no pants.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like this. It's a comfort town. Like no one gets dressed up unless it's like an event, like the Oscars or something.
I think
like
it's like people only wear something fashionable in LA if they're going to be in a situation where someone will take a photo of them dressed that way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think like New York especially, people just dress well all the time.
Oh, and I love it. I miss it so much.
And we also have to acknowledge, like, as silly as it sounds, weather plays a factor in
it does. It totally does.
Because like, there's a whole like in New York, you get the scarf and like the full suit and like the pea coat culture. Like everyone has all those things all the time. What like that's a lot of layers. You're looking at like at least 4, maybe 5 layers with the clothing. Whereas here, you're like, oh my god, I'm wearing more than a tank top in December. I am sweating balls.
Yeah. No, the few times I've worn my suit out here, I've been dying.
Yeah.
Like, and I like it's, you know, like I end up having to get my suit dry cleaned a lot more than I ever had to when I lived in the Midwest. But it's just like, yeah, no, it's I do miss it. But yeah, like that was part of the thing is like I could be fashionable when there was weather and I could wear layers and not feel like I'm just like sweating and looking gross in it. Like
it's like just a sweaty glove.
yeah. And here it's just like, you know, I see like famous people in like boutique shops when I'm like running errands for my job. And you'll be like in you'll be in like the Chanel shop or something, and like everyone who works there will be so like dressed to the nines. And then you'll see like just because I can't think of the name, like you'll see like Emily Blunt or someone walk in just a pair of flip-flops and sweatpants.
Yeah.
And you know it's her. So it's like, oh, look who's here. But like, you know, no one's like walking around in stilettos. There's no clackers. There's just
it's like if your status is high enough, you can get away with dressing down.
Yep.
It's sort of like this weird inverse sort of thing. It's like the assistants are often the best dressed people in the office because they have to be.
Yeah.
It's like everyone has to be in shirts and like suits and skirts and everything like that.
It's such a weird world here where it's like if you're well dressed, you know you're a peon.
Yeah, that's
like.
No, that's exactly it. Like I am at the moment. I'm not an assistant, and I'm really enjoying it. Like I'm letting my beard grow in. I'm just like wearing Henleys to work and stuff like that because like I don't give a fuck right now. Like I don't feel like I have that pressure to have to dress like an assistant and like look sharp. So I'm like I'm really loving it at the moment.
I like. See, the nice thing about working at a production company instead of like doing an agency is like you can kind of like let your hair down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But like I still will like buy like really nice polos and stuff. Like I have some Michael Kors polos that I absolutely fucking love.
That becomes
I bought
part
like
of it
5
too.
of them.
Yeah, that becomes part of it. It's like, oh, but like then you're in a situation where if the office is a little bit more casual, you can dress like a little bit nicer, and all of a sudden everyone goes like, "Oh, like you look so nice today. What's the occasion?" I'm like, it's Tuesday.
You know what the
I
other
like
hard
to look good.
You know what the other hard part about when you work at a job like the production company I'm at, and like when you dress nice, people know you're interviewing.
Yes.
It's this double-edged sword. You can, like, you either have to dress nice all the time so nothing's suspected.
Yeah.
Or like if you have that one day where you dress nice, people know that you're looking
Yeah.
like going around looking. So these days I'll actually like I'll wear like my usual, like, so like nothing suspected, and I'll keep like the nice shirt in my car and just like take
Swap
that
it
off
out.
and just like have like a plain black t-shirt.
Yeah. See, my strategy is my wardrobe will just run the gamut. So I'll dress like on rare occasion, like on a Friday, I might show up in like literally just like a black V-neck and jeans. But then some random Wednesday, I might come in like a suit minus the tie and jacket, like maybe in the vest thrown on, just because I wanted to look like
You like
really.
to keep them guessing.
Yes, I like to look good that day. They can be like, well, he just does this sometimes. He'll just show up randomly one day in like a full suit, and he's not interviewing, but he just does that, and then they keep him off off balance. They don't
Please
know.
tell me one day you just walking in your James Bond.
My terry cloth romper.
Yeah, your romper.
No, that I actually don't bust the thing out very often anymore because it's like the fabric is starting to kind of like fray on the back of it. Like it's gotten quite a bit of love going because I wear it to the pool.
Yeah.
Like I wear it for what it was designed to do. Wear it to the pool, be way too hot in it because I'm literally I'm zipped into a towel. But most importantly, it embarrasses my family. And I've done that often enough now that it's coming back around and it's like starting to kind of degrade a little bit. So I have to be very choosy about where I wear it now. But that being said, if it ever craps out, I'm totally going to order another one off Etsy and then also get it tailored again because, my God, who wears an ill-fitting romper? Like, that's just a horrible, horrible thing.
Oh my gosh.
See, I'm not always the worst gay.
No, you're not.
Sometimes I get it. Because as I was watching this, I was, again, trying to piece it together. I'm like, why is this? Because, like, some things I get, like, you and I are both catching up the Golden Girls right now to do a later episode. As I'm watching that, I'm like, I get this. The whole show is just a bunch of like randy old birds just throwing zingers back and forth at each other. Like everything about this like is very gay culture.
Yeah.
As I'm watching this, I could see pieces of it.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think it has to do with that being very pro femininity because the whole thing is like it's mostly centered around women, which is amazing considering that it was made in 2006.
And even Miranda Priestley as a villain is not like she's not a for lack of a better term, mustache twirling villain.
I was going to say the same
she's
thing.
Like,
yeah.
You actually believe why like that, you know, the great scene where like Andy walks in on her crying.
Yeah.
They have that kind of like interesting moment.
Yeah, like her makeup's off, she's just sitting there, she opens up, she's very real.
Yeah.
And like I think that scene does a lot because I think already she was established as I'm not going to say sympathetic, but you understood where she was coming from.
Yeah.
Because she was never mean without having a purpose.
Yeah.
Like you always knew what she was doing, and she had a very particular way of maintaining her authority. And what I liked about it was that it was so poised. Like I was looking at some trivia, trying to brush up a little bit coming into this, and I guess that was something that was a difference between the book and the movie. Then the book, I guess, she's much more like
she's much more of a caricature in the
yeah,
book.
she's kind of like more like not necessarily flailing, but she's bigger, she's louder, she's in your face.
Do you know who she's fashioned after? I'm curious.
Anna Wintour.
Oh, there we go.
The head of Vogue.
Yeah.
I know some things. I also, to be fair, I knew who Anna Wintour was before I read the trivia for this. But that's mostly because I had seen Ocean's 8 earlier this year.
That's true. I feel like since that movie, she's kind of like because I remember when I read that and I kind of looked her up, she was kind of like this sort of like behind the scenes figure, and she's kind of put herself more out in the public eye. And I don't know if that's to kind of fight sort of maybe do some damage control on like everyone knowing that she's who Devil Wears Prada is fashioned after.
Well, I think there's probably a bit of that, but I think there's also a bit of a cultural shift where we do really follow cult of personality in a very particular way now
Yeah.
compared to 10 years ago when this movie came out. Whereas now, like, people would actually know who Anna Wintour was.
There's no Instagram. There was no
Yeah.
Twitter. Facebook was a thing, but like,
Right, but
I think at this time you still had to be at a college to get a Facebook.
right, exactly. No, you think you were, because I think it was like maybe 2000.
It was 2006, 2007.
Yeah, seven. Yeah, because I had one going into college. It opened up at that point. I think I had one in high school. But yeah, like now, Anna Wintour's the sort of person who would have an Instagram account, like a controlled, curated Instagram account that is designed to promote her and to promote the magazine and to promote the whole industry.
Yeah.
Whereas back then that wasn't the case. Where it's like now it's like, oh, she's now an influencer.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a thing back then.
She was like a behind the scenes influencer.
Yeah. Whereas now, like, you have to have that sort of public persona to go somewhere. So, but I'm sure there's also a bit of like trying to shift the perspective on her.
I will say, when now having had the job I have and now watching this, like, I watch it and I look at her friends. I'm like, you guys are assholes.
They kind of are.
Like,
yeah. I do you think that, are we just overly sympathetic to it because we work in entertainment and we are assistants, and so we in that job and we understand like the amount of effort you have to put into it?
I mean, I guess I think the thing is like, okay, I get like, oh, you know, like the sort of like weird cheating thing with her and
I mean, to quote Ross, they were on a break.
yeah,
Like, come on.
we were on a break.
We were on a break.
No, I think there is sort of this weird misunderstanding, and not that my friends are assholes, but like I know there is this slight sort of disconnect between my friends and family when I talk about my job, and then actually like the sort of like experience you have being in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's that thing of the like people be like, well, don't do it, or like,
yeah,
I'm like, but this is my job.
Yeah,
like,
and this is what you have to do.
yeah, like that, like this is the job that gets me other jobs.
Yeah,
is what I like have to tell everyone, and the only way I can describe it to people is like Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah,
like.
Well, I've even had that sometimes, not like friction, but I've talked to people who work in entertainment who never had to be assistants.
Yeah.
And they don't quite understand what that means. Like, they don't quite understand all that goes into, like, they have respect for it. Like, they understand we work super hard.
Yeah.
But they don't have that, they don't understand in particular that really weird relationship sometimes you can have with your boss.
Yeah.
Where it's like you hopefully like admire, respect, and like them, and also can recognize where like they can be difficult sometimes, but you understand where that's coming from.
Yeah.
It's like, it's having empathy for someone who's making your life difficult.
Yeah, it's very
it's bizarre, right? But
it's very oh god, what is it? The kidnapper syndrome. What's the kidnapper
Stockholm syndrome?
It's very Stockholm syndrome.
It is a bit of Stockholm syndrome. No, it totally is.
Like, I can't stand my boss, but like I still do my job.
Yeah.
And there is still that weird relationship where I have this back and forth of like days where I really just hate his guts.
Yeah.
And I think he's the worst person in the world. And then I have other days where I'm like, oh, he's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very weird.
No, it totally is. And I've always been very lucky that the boss that I've had have pretty much all been really cool, actually. I've weirdly lucked out in that regards, that I've always had bosses that I actually like as people.
Yeah.
But I mean, that being said, there's always days where there's challenges and there's friction.
Yeah.
And like, you can be mad at somebody for the shit they're making you like put you through, but then if someone like, if you're kind of venting and someone starts like bad mouthing them, you find yourself really defending your boss. You're like, whoa, hang on. Like, I get to say this.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Like, hang on.
It is.
Watch what you're saying.
It is this really weird relationship. It's just,
yeah.
It's so, like someone needs to do like a psychological study and write a book on it, because it is the weirdest thing.
It is. And I think also in entertainment, that's a different beast like anywhere else too. Like, you do get some career assistants, right? Like, you get some people like their whole career is gonna be spent like being a support staff.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do. And like, that's totally great. But I think more often the case is you have someone who has aspirations to do something else, and this is a starting off point. But that's not necessarily the same case in other industries, where like you have like admins who are like career admins.
Yeah.
And so sometimes even trying to explain to someone the nuances of your job when they're used to having an assistant, but they're not in entertainment, they're like, well, what?
I don't make my assistant do
Yeah, I don't
that.
have my assistant do that. It's like we have normal hours. They come in, like as long as they're like helping book flights and schedule and stuff, it's all good. And it's like, why are you having to go off and like run and get their dry cleaning? Like, well,
It's so like yeah, and I think like there is this weird sort of thing when you do fashion and entertainment or like anything really sort of like even like politics and high powered stuff where
Yeah.
like your job doesn't technically end at the end of the day.
no,
Like, you
Yeah.
know, it's
like pretty much any job I've gotten or even interview I've had sometimes, like there's always that conversation like, well, what's the actual expectation in terms of when you need me available? Like, is this mostly just a 9 to 5 thing? Am I more or less on call 24 hours? Like, how does this work? And it varies a lot depending on the person and the job.
I think one of the things too that and like the thing that I had to learn and is sometimes really hard when you work for like high powered people. And the thing that is kind of the rookie mistake that Andy doesn't do in the movie is like it is very important to like set boundaries.
Yeah.
Really early on.
Yeah.
Because like otherwise they are going to call you in the middle of the night. They are going to call you when you're like with your parents trying to see a musical, and they are going to like if
Did
you
see what
don't
they were trying to see.
I know they're trying to see Chicago. It's probably because the tickets were really cheap.
Warms
Because
my
no
heart.
one's seeing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hang on, hang on, wait a minute, hang on. No, they wouldn't have been. This would have been 2006.
Yeah.
So that would have been like a revival of Chicago after the movie. Meaning, I bet you it was pretty popular at the time. And clearly, the dad was like, buying tickets for his daughter. Like, I'll come to New York. We'll go see Chicago. We'll have a good old time.
Well, she's from Northwestern, so
Well, okay, there's that too.
Chicago. She's from Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I learned that because this is the second time around I've had an assistant job like this, and the last time I didn't set boundaries, and
Yeah.
it was really irritating. And this time now I like really like firmly set the boundaries,
Yeah.
and it's like it's good because like he respects them, unless like there's something he absolutely like needs and it's business related. Like I had to work last weekend because it was actually like business related.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go like get him dinner and stuff on a Sunday when like no one is working. I'm like, no, I need a life. Otherwise, I might actually kill you if I don't get a break.
Well, and it's worth noting too that in the movie, Andy is the second assistant.
Yeah.
Which is part of it. Like the first assistant is the one who's in the office and like actually doing the rolling calls for the most part and doing the scheduling and all that stuff. The second assistant is the one who actually has like run and grab random shit.
Yep. And then there's a reason why is because like a lot of times when you are the first assistant, because it's the same at our office, you are basically chained to the desk.
Yeah.
Like, like my coworkers sometimes like wait to pee sometimes until I come back from running an errand.
No, like that is always my biggest fear when I'm sitting down at a new desk. I'm like, can I get up to go pee? What happens if like the phone rings and I'm not here? Like, oh my God, I'm kind of freaking out about this.
I am very grateful that this movie came out a while ago because it did kind of like prepare me for life now.
Right. Yeah. No, when you probably didn't think when you were watching it 10 years ago, like, oh, that'll be me someday.
No, I absolutely did not. I'm like, who am I going to work for like that? Like, and now I'm like, nope, that's happened twice now.
Writing an essay. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be Andy from The Devil Wears Prada.
God.
Also, is there a single actress in history who has had more on-screen makeovers than Anne Hathaway?
I was actually wondering about that. I don't think so anymore. And her makeover in Les Mis was kind of a downgrade.
Yes. But like,
she gets her hair cut off. And...
Right, yeah, she's like, I've actually never seen Les Mis, but I've seen the scene of her like having no hair and she's like crying. I don't know what's going on. But like, obviously, because Princess Diaries.
Yeah.
I guess she doesn't have a makeover in Diaries too. She's pretty much already there.
No. And
but
then this was her first one after her first big thing after. This was her out of Disney movie.
Right, yeah.
Like,
and then,
I'm not just a Disney person.
Did she have a princess makeover in Ella Enchanted too? I've never actually seen that movie. She must have.
I don't think so.
But
I mean, just
doesn't
like
she start? Isn't she kind of like a Cinderella figure? Doesn't she
yeah,
start out as
more like the classic makeover of like, oh, pretty girl gets prettied up even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but yeah, no, like she's gone through a few.
She's all thatted so many times at this point.
If she came into acting in the 90s, that would be her main role.
Oh my God, yeah.
Is the girl with the glasses like, oh, you're beautiful.
Anne Hathaway's Rachel Lee Cook, but then like made a career out of it rather than just having the one-off. And I love Rachel Lee Cook. Don't get me wrong.
And now Anne Hathaway gets to be pretty all the time.
Yeah. Because, I
And-
mean, that's the thing is, she is.
Yeah.
She is unbelievably gorgeous.
But she also just has that great, like, girl next door type of
But
feeling.
now, along those same lines, though, of her two most famous makeovers, The Princess Diaries and The Devil Wears Prada, which one do you prefer?
I've only seen Princess Diaries once.
How dare you?
You know what? You hadn't seen Devil Wears Prada at all until last night.
You don't get to use that anymore. I've seen it now.
Once.
But come on, The Princess Diaries. It's a classic.
I know.
It's Julie Andrews,
I know.
Hector Elizondo.
I do remember some of the lines, though.
Yeah. So I was at LA Comic-Con a few weeks ago, and I'm just starting to get into cosplay, but I love cosplay. And I think the best way to go is you have to go very, very specific, because when you do, whoever recognizes what your costume is will fucking love it. The best costume I saw there was these two girls. One was dressed as Mia from The Princess Diaries with like the really tall, like almost condom-esque beanie over her head.
Yeah.
And the other girl was dressed as Mandy Moore in the cheerleading outfit. And then the Mia character was carrying around a plastic cone in which she would put it up to the other girl's chest. And their combined costume was Lana Got Coned.
Oh my god.
And I was like, oh my god, you guys have the best costume at this entire goddamn event.
No, yeah. Cosplay is weird like that. If you don't have a lot of money to make something extravagant, like go small and go real specific.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. I picked like the most obscure character as possible from Batman the Animated Series, and people loved it because they're like, oh my god, it's a fucking Condiment King. Like, who does this? I do. I gladly do it.
Well, because it fits in your personality of the I will do anything for a bit. And
Yes.
basically, if you're doing those, you get to do a bit for an entire
I know.
day.
My whole costume was just a big old bit, which just, oh my god, it brought me so much joy. It was the most fun
Until
thing
later
ever.
that evening.
Yeah, and then I'm in the middle of WeHo and trying to like make my way through a bar carrying two
Meet
garbage
guys.
cans on the back of my spandex bodysuit that doesn't really look good because I don't look good in spandex.
I don't know if anyone looks good in spandex, to be
Oh.
completely honest.
Tom Holland?
Well,
Yeah.
you know.
But not all of us can be Tom Holland.
No.
But
Maybe
no.
when we were all twinks.
Yeah. Okay, well, so then clearly you prefer then the Devil Wears Prada makeover.
I do.
I mean, look,
You know why? Because there's like several makeovers in that one makeover.
this is true. Yeah, that is a fantastic montage.
Do you have a favorite outfit?
Because you asked me that about halfway through the movie, like, oh my god, I wish you had said something at the beginning because then I would have been like paying more attention.
But that's part of the movie. Is the movie is visually designed to make you pay attention to the fashion.
I mean, I was noticing it, being like, oh my god, like it just keeps getting like cooler and cooler, and she looks even more amazing. God, I do like the boots and coat look she has when Miranda first notices that she's trying.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
I'd actually say, like, even though I really like the one where she meets Miranda while she's like crying, I like that one a lot. But I also like the one in the montage that she's wearing for like half a second, and it's like she has like a brown. She's all in brown, so it's like her hair's down. She's got a brown like leather jacket on, and I can't tell. I think it's a skirt, and then like thigh high brown leather boots.
Oh, yeah.
It's like she holds the door for someone.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. I literally just typed in Anne Hathaway Devil Wears Prada. And I'm looking at Google Images. Oh, I do like this very 1960s sort of Audrey Hepburn look with like the
Very
bright
Chanel.
green heavy jacket and the white gloves and the big glasses. I'm also a fan of even this. Very simple, but I like it a lot. Just like the dark green dress.
I'll be honest, I've never liked those kinds of dresses on girls. The one where like it cuts under the boob.
Yeah.
I always think it looks kind of funny.
That's fair. I think she
Like it looks like someone like hoisted their legs up and they lost their waist. Do you know what I mean?
it just like disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I also like a lot of stuff that Emily Blunt wears through the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I also just
Emily
love-
Blunt is just fabulous.
I just love Emily Blunt in general.
Who
but
doesn't?
especially in this movie, like she gets like I'm so glad that she insists on keeping her own accent.
Yeah.
Because it really makes the character that much more appealing.
It definitely
which
adds
is
to it.
very shallow, I suppose to say, but it does add something to the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh God.
I don't know,
Yeah.
just like when she's being barbed, like it feels less harsh because it's
And
coming with this
it's
very
so funny
posh
to
accent.
think of it now because like we're so used to seeing Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt everywhere now.
Yeah.
But like they were practically nobodies
Yeah, like,
when this movie came out.
when I
Like
was-
I didn't know who Emily Blunt was. I'm like, who's this random chick they got to be?
yeah, because because I was reading the trivia and I guess she was discovered in like the parking lot. She was leaving 20th Century Fox because she had been auditioning for, I want to say it was like Aragorn, like that dragon book. That's not Aragorn. Aragorn's Lord of the Rings.
My boss did that movie.
Fuck it, whatever. But yeah, so she was like auditioning for that and didn't get it. And as she was like walking out of the parking lot, someone stopped her. It was like, oh hey, like you should go audition for Devil Wears Prada instead. And she got it. And
Good call on her part.
yeah, because she's amazing. I mean, she's amazing in everything.
Yeah.
But I guess after this, she did. What did she kind of do after this? It was a lot more kind of was she in the like the rom-com space kind of?
Oh God, that's a good question.
Because I feel like Edge of Tomorrow, aka All You Need Is Kill,
There was a big gap between those
was
two.
well, I know, but like, I feel like that was one of the movies that kind of like helped like push her to the foreground again.
Yeah.
Because she's such a badass in that movie.
Oh, she did that bad movie with Matt Damon, Adjustment Bureau.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah.
Um,
and she was up for Black Widow, but I think was she pregnant? No, I think she just turned it down for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, she did a lot of indie stuff.
Oh, okay.
So like Dan in Real Life, Sunshine Cleaning.
Was it the one with Amy Adams, Sunshine Cleaning?
Yeah,
Like the cleanup after dead bodies?
and then Young Victoria.
I mean, she's so amazing. Can we take a moment to talk about how excited I am? How I'm sure you are as well for Mary Poppins Returns.
I'm super excited.
I'm so excited.
I was not excited until they're like, and Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins. I'm like,
Same. It goes to show how much casting makes a difference because I love the original.
Yeah.
Like, I watch it maybe twice a year. I really, really love that movie. Listen to the soundtrack all the time. Like it has a special place in my heart. You cannot beat Julie Andrews. And they're
she
like,
can't sing anymore.
I know, it's so sad. But I mean, she has such an incredible legacy though. Like she'll always, between the like Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music, like she will always have that incredible legacy.
At least you've seen The Sound of Music.
I have. I've only seen it once, and I only saw it a few years ago, but I really, really loved it. And I feel like I want to go back and revisit it again soon. There's something about old Hollywood movies that people are like, dancing a whole bunch of old Hollywood musicals.
Yeah, it's just comforting.
It
and,
is.
like
It
relaxing.
is just comforting, right? It's like not The Sound of Music. God damn it. What's the Singing in the Rain?
Oh yeah. That's
Again,
one of my
I only
favorites.
saw it for the first time a few years ago, and I loved it. Just like the choreography on that, like
Debbie Reynolds.
I know, just like to have that massive set. And it's all real people. It's a real environment. Everyone's like really choreographed, and it's not all like close-ups and cutting and everything like that. It's wide, and it's just that beautiful. Like,
They're like, it's this thing of like they take their time.
yes,
They can do the wide shots because no tea, no shade, but actors were that talented back in the
no,
day.
it's absolutely true.
These days, it's just like everyone with like a pretty face is just like, I'm a model wanting to be an actor.
Yeah,
like
I'm a model / influencer / Instagram model / aspiring actor, and I dabble in writing and directing sometimes too.
ooh.
Yeah.
I know I'm hungover, but you just made me want to puke a little bit.
No, it killed me a little bit, even just to say those words sarcastically. But no, I love that old-fashioned sort of feel to those movies, those like big dance musical numbers.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
I know.
You know they are making Devil Wears Prada musical.
What?
Yep.
What? I can't hit anything loud because it's an audio medium. What?
Yeah, I don't know when it's coming out, but
Well, one presumes it's going to first be in Chicago, as I've learned from you, and then work its way to Broadway.
yep.
Oh my
I have
God.
to fly home for that.
Oh my God.
Something.
This is ridiculous. I've seen the movie once, but the idea of a musical version of it, I'm like, I'm all on board.
See,
No, because it's great. I genuinely really, really enjoyed it. Like, I do want to go watch it again. Like, I've seen it. Like, here's, I feel like the danger of being told, oh my God, you have to go watch this movie is sometimes it's hard for it to live up to the expectations that have been put upon it.
No,
Like,
I get that.
Yeah, like for me, Fight Club, I saw probably 10 years after it came out, and I didn't know the twist. A Fight Club, even as I'm watching, I'm going like, eh. And I think part of that too is that I had seen newer David Fincher films, so I'd seen his style done with a little bit more polish.
Yeah.
So I went back, I'm like, this really isn't quite working for me. And I get maybe that's some of the challenge sometimes of doing something very cutting edge is that you run the risk of it looking dated in the future because it's of a time.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel of a time other than the fact that they're using razors and sidekicks.
Yeah. That's about it. It's just is really the phones for the most part.
Yeah, but other than that, like it does still feel very contemporary.
And I think that's also kind of one of the lasting things about it too, is that it is a very like sort of timeless tale. Like,
yeah, because it's just as relevant now as it was then.
yeah.
Well, more so for us.
More so for us, but and like just Meryl is timeless.
Oh my God.
But
yeah.
even like speaking of like fashion and stuff, like I'm like I watch this movie, I'm like Meryl looks so fabulous in this movie.
She does.
And then like I've seen her in person, and like definitely looks like hippie mom.
I bet, yeah.
On,
I could
like,
totally
a regular day.
totally see that being
Like,
her. Yeah.
Like very like dressed down, glasses, hair is usually in like a mess.
Yeah.
Like, not very like doesn't dress very flashy. And then I see her in this, I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, she is so elegant. And I think that's the kind of funny thing is that this movie does feel like a bit of an outlier. Like, it's not when you watch it because you're like, oh, right, only someone who's this good could bring this character to life and have it feel so real.
Yeah.
And so empathetic in their own way. But it's not a super Oscar baity performance, which is pretty much like all she does now. But it's kind of like
I don't know if she does Oscar baity roles or the Oscars just like
they just follow. That's
they
about to
follow
say.
her.
Yeah, it's kind of like a snake eating its own tail at this point. It's like, well, because she's in it, it's an Oscar-worthy performance, which is not always true.
No, it's not.
But I
she
mean,
shouldn't have won the Oscar for the last movie she won the Oscar for.
Was that the Iron Lady?
Yeah.
I never even saw that. It didn't look very interesting.
It wasn't very good.
But like she's just that good. And of course, she got nominated for this because
Yeah.
I looked it up and it got only nominated for her and then also for costume design. Another one, which I was kind of surprised by because the costume design in this is absolutely fantastic.
I guess, you know what I bet people would say? They're like, well, is it really costumes when it's actual fashion?
Well, I think that's part of it. And obviously, a lot of the fashion was donated.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, that would still be part of the job of the costume designer to like go out and be like, okay, well, if we're not necessarily making original stuff, we are having to curate
Yeah, Academy members don't see that.
the wardrobe. Yeah. I mean, because you have to think about it a little bit more. But like, to your point, none of the fashion seems dated either.
No.
Like, oh, I forgot.
Good fashion is technically supposed to be timeless.
Well, and I think that's part of it. I think that's part of the problem with LA is it's not actually good fashion. It's just fashion of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LA is all like what's in the now.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, the fucking like Aladdin style sweatpants with like the crotch way down past your shins, the Bieber style pants, like those already look dumb. They're not going to look good in 10 years.
You know what
time.
I hate about those? Like,
I mean, what don't you hate? That's a shorter list. Nothing. Continue.
I mean, I hate them for the two prime reasons I like looking at guys wearing sweatpants. Is
Yes!
that they don't show off anything.
I know.
I can't see anything. No VPL, no ass. Like I can't make out anything.
Wait,
it looks like they're
VPL?
visible penis line.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. Forgot to include that one in the vocabulary.
We'll add it.
That'll be this week's Instagram ad. VPL.
VPL.
You like VPL? Come listen to Devil Wears Prada. But no, it's like,
Do you love some VPL?
I like, and I've sort of drank the Kool-Aid in that sense of like I guess maybe part of it is like me having a more athletic and fit lifestyle now is like I really love athleisure wear.
Yeah.
Now.
But the whole thing is like everything should be well fitted.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I never really go into like the baggy clothes space because you're not really doing anyone any favors.
It's not early 2000s. We're not,
Yeah, no one has wallet chains anymore.
Not
No one's
sagging.
Yeah, no one's got feathered tips.
There's no goth. We don't need pants legs the size of a dress.
Yes. Yeah, but everything should be well fitted. But like, yeah, all the fashion in this it's just all very classy.
Yeah.
And that says a lot because there's a lot of movies that 10 years on, the fashion looks fucking
You're like,
horrible.
ooh. Well, and also like there is that sort of thing of like fashion tends to be circular.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's part of it too.
you know, we look at like high fashion stuff in the 80s and we're like, oh, that's dated. And now some of that stuff is coming back around. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just like, it just, for some reason, recycles itself for whatever reason.
But we should also acknowledge that 2006 was the year of Casino Royale, which has some of the best Bond fashion in it.
That is true.
Anywhere.
And it's got Ava Green. God, there were a lot of good actresses that got their like big
Yeah,
break
right?
that year. Jesus.
Oh my god! Well, and it's so funny to think about Ava Green getting her break the same year as Emily Blunt. I guess not Anne Hathaway, although this kind of helped propel her out of that Disney space.
I think this was her like her actual big break because there are a lot of people that can't come out of that Disney space.
That's true. Most can't.
Yeah.
Very few can. But I think Ava Green's probably a little bit older than the two of them.
Yeah,
as well.
I think a little bit.
But yeah, you look back at that movie and you really think about part of it's the roles, but you think of Ava Green as like being a woman in that movie. And when this, like Emily Blunt and especially Anne Hathaway seem like they're in their 20s, like they're young, like they're kids, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
And yeah, Ava Green is supposed to be this very like just a woman, not like a girl.
Oh god. Now I just want to go watch Casino Royale. But man, to be fair, I'm never far away from wanting to go watch Casino Royale.
You just put on a Bond movie any day and you're fine.
I mean, not any movie. Some of them are real bad.
No, don't want to watch Never Say Never Again.
That doesn't count. It's non-canonical. It's not an official Ian Productions movie.
Do you want to watch not ready to sit down and have a nice Moonraker day?
Ooh, I am rarely having a Moonraker day. Because I think I've told you my theory about how to introduce anyone to James Bond, right? You do it in 3 films.
Oh no.
So if someone has never seen James Bond, you show them the 3 movies. And you show them in this order. Casino Royale, because that is a good intro point, and also I think it goes to show the best that franchise can be, because that is objectively a great film, while not necessarily being a quintessential Bond film. Second film you show them is Goldfinger, because that is the quintessential Bond film. That was the film that set all the templates, and yes, you're gonna have to deal with the really, really terrible gender politics of the film.
Yep.
But that's kind of also part of acknowledging that's where the franchise started. The third movie you watch, Moonraker. So you can show them just how fucking stupid and insane that franchise can get.
Got some high highs and then a really low low.
But you have to do that, right? Like, if you need to show someone like what, like the spectrum of Bond.
I mean,
that 3 does it.
I do get that because I feel like I will do that with gay films, and people will like it's funny how like people are so kind of in awe of like Call Me by Your Name and like Love, Simon. Like suddenly like gay cinema is like a new thing. I'm like, oh no, there's a lot of bad that we've had to suffer through.
So much bad.
And we've had to pick out the good through the bad. Like there are a lot of like, there are some movies I used to consider like good gay films because they were kind of just like the best out of a mediocre quality.
Yeah, like
and I watch them now, I'm like, this is actually not good.
You used to go scroll through like the Netflix queer like LGBT section, and you're just like, oh, it's either something that looks really somber and depressing, or just like beefcake bait.
Yeah, they're either like it's either like beefcake bake or like something sad about AIDS.
Yes,
like there's no sort of like in between.
Yeah, we now have finally this in between films.
Yeah, which is great. Like we're actual people.
It's like, okay, you've never seen a gay film. All right, let's get Love, Simon up. Let's get started here. Nice and palatable, warm, welcoming, acceptable. All right, let's push a little bit further. We're going Weekend next.
We're going to do Weekend, which is great.
It is good. It's really good.
And now for the third one, the Eating Out series.
Yes, I was trying to remember the name. I was trying to scroll through. There's like, what, 5 of them or something like that? It's ridiculous.
Oh, they still make them too. I don't know why.
It's like the Police Academy of gay film.
Yeah, or like more like these days, I found like the American Pie of gay films. Because they're still making American Pies for whatever reason. I guess it's like an easy paycheck for Eugene Levy, even though Schitt's Creek is glorious.
It is so good. Yeah, but that was like middle section before they did like American Reunion. There's like turning out direct-to-DVD movies where he's like the camp counselor at band camp or something like that. You're just like, why? And it's like Stifler's like cousin. It's not even his brother at this point. Like they're just going further down the list.
More nudity, like because it's not in a theater. Like it's
exactly. It's no, we can do better.
So thankfully things are changing.
Yes,
and we're getting better shows that aren't just about AIDS and softcore porn.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any overlap. What
Short
if
Bus.
Oh, that has both?
Yes.
Okay, good.
If I remember right.
All right, I'll have to add that to the list.
I would love to get your like. I want to watch Bus with you because
Okay.
it's an experience.
Okay.
Let me put it this way, and a little bit of a spoiler, but I remember like my roommate watched it when I was in college, and he's like, I don't understand what was happening in this movie. I watched a guy suck himself off, and then he was crying, and I'm like, what the hell?
What?
Yeah. just to give you a little like.
I mean, good on him. That takes both like size and flexibility, neither of which are super common. So
Remember when people used to think Marilyn Manson removed his rib to suck his own dick?
yeah, I mean, it's the same people that thought that Richard Gere shoved a gerbil up his ass. Like, it's amazing what some like really well placed rumors and like some counter PR can do.
Thank God for the internet. Could just nip these fallacies in the bud, or find
Or
even
spread
more.
them even faster.
Yeah, or just like find more theories to support your crazy ass theory.
Even more rumors just thrown out there.
Oh God, I'm trying to think if I have any like other. No, this movie I think it was just like it means a lot to me because it was just, like very pinnacle.
Yeah.
Of like it was sort of that part of my gay life where I felt like a little bit being more adult gay because of like. God, I see some of the pictures of shit I wore, and it was like when I got into like the book and then I got into this movie, like definitely changed my complete sense of style.
Yeah.
I had that whole like the emperor has no clothes thing. I look at myself, I'm like, what the fuck am I wearing?
What? Who made this choice?
Yeah,
this clearly wasn't me. I would never pick something this terrible.
Yeah, and it was just like I just like, oh my God, and like thankfully got a sense of humor, or not a sense of humor.
You can at least go back and laugh about the really terrible fashion choices.
A sense of fashion.
Jonathan, it's fine until probably around like 16. I had a bowl cut, just like the world's most blonde bowl cut ever.
Who didn't?
Yes, it was real bad.
And then I'm sure you went from the bowl cut to the duck butt.
The duck, but
where you like push it up in the front, but like you're not like right now yours is styled where like you style it where it's kind of like pushed over.
Yeah.
But this is just where it goes like straight, like you gel it straight up and kind of back.
A little bit. Well, hang on. I do specifically keep a folder on my phone called Fat Chris. To remind people, okay, so here we go. So this photo is me at 13 at a national rocket contest.
Oh my.
So pretty fat. I'm wearing I'm pretty sure those are Oakley sunglasses to really give you a sense of it being 2003. And then this is me with my high school girlfriend to give you a sense of how things have changed.
Duck butt.
Duck butt. Yeah,
butt.
exactly. Yeah, it's like
I knew it.
Yeah, it's real bad.
I know your type. You go from bowl cut to duck butt. But we all did it. Doesn't matter.
We all went through it. But I mean, so I can also see too like why this might have jumped out to you, because there are gay characters in this, but they're also not, for being set in fashion, they're not stereotypes.
In the that's the other funny thing. In the book, they kind of are.
And that's what I've read. I've read that like Nigel in the book is a total stereotype.
Yeah, he's a lot younger and he's very like bitchy queen, like hey move I'm gay, kind of gay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say like almost Ugly Betty is almost closer to Devil Wears Prada, the book, in the way the characters are.
Yeah.
Not that like it's based off of it, but like you get those sort of like it is a little bit more. And Ugly Betty, of course, is a comedy, so you get more stereotypes and stuff because it makes for better comedy.
Yeah.
But like you don't get sort of these fleshed out people in them. In Ugly Betty as you do in Devil Wears Prada. And I think that's one of the strengths of it. Is one of those few instances where the movie is better than the book.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of why like after the movie came out, I'm like I think I tried reading the book one more time and I was just like, oh, I'm not loving this as much as I remembered it. But
well, because it does have so much broad appeal.
Yeah.
Like it, because like when we went to sit down and watch it last night, it was under the comedy section of HBO Go. That almost seems like it's undercutting its value a little bit. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I suppose at its core, like it is a comedy. It's not. I wouldn't even call it a romantic comedy because that's not really part of it at all.
It's not even.
It's more of like a workplace comedy of sorts. But that does feel almost dismissive and I'm not dismissing comedy. Like, I hold comedy in very high esteem. I still maintain that if you are a comedic actor, comedic director, if you can do a writer, if you can do comedy, you can do drama.
Adam McKay.
Adam McKay, Peter Farley,
Yep.
going down that path now too. But it almost feels like you're underselling how good this movie is, because it fits that mold of like, this is just very sincere,
Yeah,
and very genuine, and like, it's dramatic and it's intense when it needs to be, but it's funny when it needs to be, and it just feels like real life.
Yeah.
It's heightened, of course, it's a film, but it feels very real.
Yeah. Funny thing is like, it is heightened, but it's like now like having sort of that work life.
It's not that heightened.
I'm like, it's not that heightened.
It's not far off.
If anything, it's like pulled back a little bit from other stories I've heard. But like, yeah.
You can see why that sort of adaptation process would benefit it. Like, putting in the hands of someone who maybe wasn't as deep in the fashion industry as the original writer. I actually don't know much about the original writer, but
I think she was
in fashion,
one of her like, maybe not Anna Winters, but like someone's assistant.
Okay.
I remember her saying that.
Yeah.
Laura Schlesinger, something like that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I can see coming out of that, like, giving it in the hands of someone who like makes it a little bit broader in terms of its appeal, and like gives it a little more grounding in relatability would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Because it is excellent. And I'm already discovering that I'm getting references now.
Your eyes have opened.
So, like, a little bit of backstory. I literally actually had the stomach flu last weekend. For those of you who hadn't had it, it's fucking terrible. But I made a comment about that on Facebook, and someone asked me, "Are you at your goal weight now?" And I'm like, "What the fuck does?" I was like, almost offended. Like, what is that supposed to mean? I don't get what the joke here is. And then I watched me, and I'm like, oh, I get it now.
I make them all the time with my my coworker, because like we recently had someone get let go. And my favorite thing is that, like, I remember, like, it was because of an incident that happened with my boss's family member, that, and like they became too close with one of the kids.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And my like coworker looks at me, she's like, what did we learn? Don't trust the twins. Doesn't matter how nice they are to you, never trust the twins. You could be their best friend.
Yeah.
As long as you have that job, don't trust the twins.
No. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, like it's on my list of like movies I reference most of the time.
Yeah. No, it's probably the best that I've now seen this, because I feel like I've been missing out on quite a few references over the years. Plus, just missing out on the joy of this movie.
I let Wes know that we were doing this episode today, and the text I got, good. Wait, how has he not seen that? Like, I'm like, this is if there wasn't that question, we would not have this podcast.
We would not have this podcast. But I think if we come to the point where we have to give it our traditional ranking system here.
Yes.
I guess let's start with you. Would you give it a yes?
Yes.
So you're giving it a yas and not a
Yes.
no queen on there?
Queen.
You're giving the full marks. Yas.
Yes, queen.
Okay. All right. I think I would probably give it a yas. I don't know if I'm full on queen with this one.
I'm waiting to see, because I don't think you've given a Yas queen yet.
I don't remember. 'Cause we haven't actually done a movie in a while.
Because I think Death Becomes Her was a medium Yas.
I think so. I may have given. Did I give Priscilla a Yas queen?
I think.
Did we do ratings on that one? Or do we forget to?
I think we forgot.
Probably forgot to.
I don't think. Actually, I don't think we did, because you had seen both.
No, I had not seen.
Oh, Tu Wong Fu.
Tu Wong Fu.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think this is a solid. Yes.
This will always be a Yas queen for me.
No, it's fantastic, and I can see being with this movie is that the more I watch, the more I appreciate it.
Well, and I guess for me too, it was like when it was coming out, I felt like I was the only one excited about it.
Yeah.
And obviously, like part of the thing is like, when I'm not from a small town, but like still in the suburbs, like even if you are gay, like only so many people are out.
Yeah, right.
I go back now and like half of my friends are actually gay. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Trailblazer. Hey.
No, yeah. Same. Same.
Who eased up all your parents for you? Me.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, it was one of those things where I was very like, it was like when I discovered Clue, I was very precious about it because I didn't know anyone else who loved it as much as I did.
Right.
And then like sure enough, like having more gay friends, I'm like, all these people love it as much as I do. And it was like the best thing ever.
Yeah. It is quite good. It held up. It held up to the expectations that have been put on it by you and everybody else.
I try not to if something's good, I try not to like overdo it.
I mean, that is true, but also the reason we did this episode is when we were doing an episode of your other podcast, you came to discover I had not seen this movie, and then the whole conversation got derailed, and you did nothing but berate me for about another 20 minutes, I'd say, about the fact that I had not seen it.
It is one of my favorite movies, though.
Like, it became your go-to, just like dismissive for me for like a month. No matter what I would say, if you disagreed, like, whatever, you have to the Devil Wears Prada, and you just like turn around and walk away from me.
Now you have. I can't use that
I
excuse
know,
anymore.
It's fine.
I have to find
Pick
a new movie.
something else, and it'll still apply.
No, that was just a big one for me because it's one of my favorites.
No, I
It'd
totally
be like
get
if I never saw if I saw like all the Bonds and never saw Goldfinger.
Right, yeah. No, I have
The
those.
Told You Moonraker was my favorite.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, God. I think my heart just stopped for a second. Oh, no, it's fine. It's back. We're good. But yeah, we got to figure out what we're going to do next, though.
Depends on how quickly we get through Golden Girls.
Oh, that's going to be a long ways down. I'm still like only partway through season 2.
Oh,
I know.
It'll come to us. We've done. I'm proud of us. We've done 2 non-movie ones before we did another movie.
I know, right? See?
Oh.
See? Look at us. We'll see if we can find another non-movie one to do maybe next time.
Yeah.
But if you have some suggestions, write to us and let us know.
Yeah, we always love to hear of things to teach Chris or things to talk about.
Yeah, I forget what our actual handles are, but they're all in the little blurb at the end there. So just keep listening.
Just look below.
Some of them are Gay It Forward, some are Gay It Forward Pod. I can't remember.
Yeah, just just subscribe. Please subscribe.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Subscribe.
Give us a review. Thank you for listening. As always, we love you.
Yes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the love with the last episode too. On the trans episode.
Especially. Yeah, I think still it'll probably be a long time before we come across an episode that we do that we're as proud of as that one.
Yeah,
because that was very emotional and very, very, very proud of my friend Katie. So
yeah. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah, all the love. So, but thanks everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Gay It Forward. The podcast is produced by Chris Lord and Jonathan James and edited by Chris Lord. Music by Chris Humans and Colin Diaz. Artwork by Cameron Dexter. Please subscribe and review on iTunes. Follow the podcast at Gay It Forward on Instagram and YouTube and at Gay It Forward Pod on Facebook and Twitter. Got an idea for an episode? Send us an email at gayitforwardpod@gmail.com. Thanks and stay fabulous.